This is WION World is One. This is your prime time, and you are watching Gravitas.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas. I'm Molly Gambhir. Let's get started. Our top focus tonight on Gravitas, Donald Trump has sent shock waves through West Asia, with the US president threatening to attack an Iran nuclear site pretty soon, triggering fears of widespread havoc, and Iran promising a major retaliation if the attack takes place. We piece together for you the warnings, decode the messaging, and what's happening behind the scenes, taking you beyond the headlines. To understand what really happens if these threats and warnings turn into concrete action. Will the two sides hit a point of no return as the world watches on with bated breath? Also on the show for you tonight, CJP promises millions more will come to Delhi if the demands are not met as the protests in Delhi intensify and the anger and the questions mount. What's the story behind Zelensky's big purge? First the defense minister, now the army chief, as the Ukrainians meanwhile rise in fury. A detailed report coming up on the Assam flood situation and the latest from on the ground. What's the story behind China's unique high-orbit satellite, and is it using a rare metal that America is struggling to obtain? Why does Trump want the FIFA chief to be the UN chief, even as calls grow simultaneously for the FIFA chief to resign? We decode that for you. Did the Milky Way galaxy flip upside down after a major collision? We tell you about a major revelation. You don't want to miss this. A Michelin star restaurateur on trial in South Korea after allegedly serving 49,000 ants to diners. We get you the complete story. All this and a lot more coming up.
And we're not finished at all.
A major warning from Donald Trump has sent shockwaves through West Asia, with the US president threatening to attack an Iran nuclear site pretty soon, and Iran promising a major retaliation if the attack happens. These are explosive developments. And if the threats turn into action, the consequence would be widespread, unprecedented havoc. In fact, a while ago, explosions were heard in several parts of Iran following the fresh US strikes, with the port city of Bushehr and the northwestern city of Tabriz reportedly coming under attack. There were images also showing flames burning along a road in Iran's southwestern Bebahan, and reports of a missile attack in the area. Remember, Donald Trump has been issuing a series of warnings, stressing that America is not finished attacking Iran, claiming the damage caused would take decades to repair. Listen in.
So if we left right now, it would take around 20, 25 years to rebuild. Okay? And we're not finished at all.
Donald Trump issued a fresh warning to Iran, saying that every time Iran attacks a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, America will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant in response. Why exactly has Donald Trump threatened to bomb Iran's nuclear site, and that too pretty soon, promising to hit the site very hard, quote unquote? First, let's explain what is known about the site and also decode, can Trump really destroy it? It's called the Pickaxe Mountain. It's a highly fortified site. That's where it is located. It's about 220 kilometers south of Tehran. And it's also very close, as you can see, to the nuclear complex in Natanz, which, remember, was bombed during last year's 12-day war. And as per reports, it contains 2 tunnel complexes buried deep underground, which makes it difficult to destroy. In fact, remember, America and Tehran have been at loggerheads over how to deal with Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium. Earlier, the Wall Street Journal reported that Israeli intelligence believes Iran moved thousands of uranium enrichment centrifuges into tunnels deep inside that mountain last fall. Israeli and US officials reportedly said, according to the report. Now, all of this coming at a very sensitive time. Iran reportedly has been also warning that Trump's threat to attack underground nuclear site would expand the regional war, warning that the country's armed forces would target US interests, allies, if America attacks Iran's nuclear facilities or other sensitive sites. Meanwhile, the region continues to feel the ripple effects and the shock waves in more ways than one. Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain reported continuous interception of Iranian aerial attacks. The attacks came in retaliation after US forces completed that 11th consecutive night of strikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure. CENTCOM said it targeted Iranian military operations centers, maritime capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, military logistics infrastructure earlier. In fact, Iranian state media reported that America carried out a missile strike on Larak Island. That's where it is located, the Larak Island in the Strait of Hormuz. Air defenses, in fact, reportedly were activated across Tehran, while reports also pointed to strikes in several parts of the country earlier. Explosions were heard in Bushehr. Parts of western and southern Iran also appear to have been hit in the latest wave of strikes. And with his latest threats, Donald Trump is signaling to Iran in a way that he is willing to escalate. Also, are the latest US attacks a precursor to a possible ground invasion? That remains a big question. Remember, Donald Trump has reportedly been leaning towards further expanding the US military operations in Iran. The options reportedly including sending ground forces to seize Iranian islands near Hormuz, like Khark, which is extremely crucial as it handles about 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. But can America really afford to escalate things further? Look at the cost. The cost of the war continues to mount for America in multiple ways, with billions being poured in to keep the war machine running. The war has reportedly cost US taxpayers at least $37.5 billion so far. It has led to the deaths of 18 US service members, injured more than 450 troops. In fact, the Pentagon said on Monday, remember, that 100 service members have been injured since July 7. Naturally, the frustration with Trump's war against Iran has only been mounting. Trump's approval rating, by the way, has hovered near the lowest levels of his political career since the conflict started. And Donald Trump will attend a ceremony, meanwhile, for 4 US service members killed in Iranian attacks in West Asia, who will return to American soil. The 3 US service members reportedly killed when an Iranian missile hit their sleeping barracks at the air base in Jordan on Friday. All 3 were reportedly assigned to US Army Air Defense Brigades. The 4th death reportedly occurred on Sunday in a separate incident in Erbil, Iraq, during a controlled detonation of an attack drone. But what about the talks and what's going on behind the scenes? According to the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, his messaging is that Iran is not serious about talks, adding that America is always willing to engage, negotiate, and settle the differences. But what's going on behind the scenes? Will the region get dragged deeper into uncertainty? As of now, both sides seem to be racing down this dangerous path of escalation at a breakneck speed. Will they hit a point of no return? Will the entire region feel the shock waves as the world watches on with bated breath? A nuclear deal is being sold as civilian, but uranium enriched for peaceful energy can, with further enrichment, become the core material for a nuclear weapon. Now add Pakistan's clandestine nuclear past, its deep financial dependence on Saudi Arabia, and its own mounting crises, and a rather disturbing question emerges. Could Riyadh eventually look to Islamabad for more than just nuclear know-how? Are Pakistani nuclear scientists waiting to join Saudi nuclear project approved by Donald Trump? We decode that in this report.
The nuclear race in West Asia may be entering a new and dangerous chapter. And this time, Pakistan is at the center of the storm. Donald Trump is said to have approved an agreement allowing Saudi Arabia to develop fuel for a civilian nuclear program. The pact is expected to go before the US Congress, where lawmakers are likely to question whether it provides enough safeguards to prevent the technology from being diverted towards weapons.
Doesn't having a less than gold standard agreement in the Middle East run a risk?
Well, I'm not going to opine directly on that agreement. We're going to put out, even when the moment is appropriate, we'll put out that in writing. We have to do it with Congress anyways, so we'll certainly do it publicly.
The key issue is uranium enrichment. Low enriched uranium can be used as fuel for civilian nuclear reactors. But if uranium is enriched to much higher levels, it can become weapons-grade material that can be used in a nuclear bomb. That does not mean Saudi Arabia is building a bomb, but it explains why the deal is attracting so much scrutiny. And then there is Pakistan, a country with a deeply controversial nuclear history. Pakistan developed its nuclear arsenal outside the global non-proliferation framework. Its former top nuclear scientist, A.Q. Khan, became the face of one of the world's most notorious clandestine nuclear proliferation networks. The network allegedly supplied nuclear technology, equipment, and expertise to countries including Iran, Libya, and North Korea. Now, Pakistan is facing severe economic and political pressure. The country's debt remains enormous, with public debt running at roughly 70% of GDP by recent estimates, while Islamabad continues to rely on IMF support and emergency financial assistance from friendly states. Saudi Arabia has been one of those crucial partners, providing loans, deposits, and financial support to Pakistan during repeated balance of payment crises. At the same time, Pakistan faces massive internal turmoil, from unrest in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to a worsening insurgency in Balochistan, and mounting security pressure along the Afghan border. Islamabad is fighting fires on multiple fronts. Its economy is fragile, its politics deeply divided. Its dependence on foreign financing is growing, and its relationship with Saudi Arabia is strategically important. That is why the prospect of a Saudi nuclear program raises questions about Pakistan's possible role. Now, Iran has always insisted its nuclear program is entirely peaceful and aimed at civilian purposes. But the United States and Israel have repeatedly accused Tehran of pursuing the capability to build a nuclear weapon. Saudi Arabia fears the same outcome, and if Riyadh ever concludes that Iran is moving towards a bomb, the kingdom could seek its own deterrent. That is where Pakistan's nuclear past becomes impossible to ignore. History has already shown what happens when nuclear technology escapes strict control. The world should not need another EQ Khan scandal to learn the lesson. Bureau Report WION, World is One.
शांति बनाए रखिए प्लीज।
Protests in Delhi continue to rage amid rising anger and a number of questions. While the Cockroach Janata Party has issued a fresh warning to the government, Sonam Wangchuk meanwhile has put forth one condition for ending his hunger strike, which has now entered day 25. Just a few hours earlier, Cockroach Janata Party claimed that it had turned down the Union Minister JP Nadda's invitation for fresh talks at his residence. While it proposed a meeting at the protest site or a neutral venue near Jantar Mantar, the government is yet to respond reportedly. CJP also warned millions more will come to Delhi if the demands are not accepted. Listen to this.
We have said this very clearly. What happened on 20th was a trailer. If the government doesn't agree, millions more will come to Delhi, because this time will not hold back, will not stay silent.
The CJP, remember, has been seeking the Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation over the students ending their lives allegedly because of the cancellation of the NEET UG exam conducted because of a large-scale paper leak. They have also sought compensation of 1 crore rupees for the kin of those deceased students. What started out as a students' protest has now also gained a political dimension. A day earlier, Rahul Gandhi, remember, and other Congress leaders were forcibly removed and detained by the police after they staged that dharna outside Prime Minister Modi's residence. The Congress leader followed it up with a press conference today, claiming that 152 paper leaks have taken place over the last years with no convictions. He stated 7.5 crore students and their families have been impacted by this. And he also stressed on the key demands of the protesters.
Is that Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who has failed as an education minister, who is known to be corrupt, should be relieved of his duties. 100% legitimate demand, nothing wrong with it.
Meanwhile, Sonam Wangchuk, who was, remember, admitted to Gurugram's Medanta hospital last evening, revealed that he lost 11 kg so far, agreed to call off his fast today itself if the government provides an unequivocal assurance that none of the young protesters will face any legal action for participating in this movement. In a letter addressed to the Union Minister JP Nadda and Jitendra Singh, who, remember, visited him at the hospital, the activists claimed that the government was considering paying adequate compensation for the deceased students and holding a meaningful discussion in the parliament. More chaos unfolded as the police prevented a delegation of MPs from the opposition parties, including the Aam Aadmi Party and the Samajwadi Party, from meeting Sonam Wangchuk at the hospital reportedly. Earlier in the day, the Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Kiren Rijiju, reiterated the government's willingness for having a discussion on the issue. And while the opposition parties upped the ante, with many leaders arriving at the parliament dressed in black to protest the injuries inflicted upon the protesters allegedly, the Union Defence Minister accused them of misleading the youth.
हम इस बात के लिए भी पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध हैं कि किसी भी व्यक्ति, विशेषकर हमारे छात्रों और नौजवानों के साथ किसी भी प्रकार का अन्याय न हो। और विपक्ष के कुछ नेताओं द्वारा मैन्युफैक्चर्ड एक सेंस ऑफ एंगर, आक्रोश लोगों के अंदर केवल जनता, विशेषकर बच्चों के नौजवानों को भ्रमित करने और गुमराह करने का मैं मानता हूं कि यह असफल प्रयास है।
And following Rahul Gandhi's dharna outside Prime Minister Modi's residence, BJP workers demonstrated in front of the state Congress headquarters. During one such protest in Patna, workers of the BJP and the Congress came to blows. The Congress also protested over Rahul Gandhi's brief detention. But the controversy over the alleged use of brute force by the Delhi police against the protesters during the July 20th march to Parliament refuses to die down. Hearing a bunch of public interest litigations regarding this, the Delhi High Court ordered the Delhi police to preserve the relevant CCTV footage and videos. It also issued a notice to the police and the centre and asked them to file their counter affidavits within a period of 4 weeks. And the matter will be heard next on the 11th of September. With many asking questions over the nature of the ongoing protests, there's also a fundamental question here. What is the constitutional position when it comes to protests in India? As per Article 19, citizens have the right to assemble peacefully without carrying arms. There is a caveat though. The government can impose reasonable restrictions on protests under the garb of sovereignty, public order, decency, or morality. To undertake any protest, the organizers need to obtain a no objection certificate from the police station. And while the authorities closed multiple Delhi metro stations because of the security situation earlier in the day, it appears that the clampdown is also leading to more questions and perhaps also fueling more support for this agitation, and a number of questions about when will the students who at this moment feel like they're not being heard actually feel like their demands have been met and they have been heard. In fact, there have been many from across the country also reportedly sending meals to protesters at Jantar Mantar. The organizers eventually issued an appeal asking them to stop ordering more and sending more. While the BJP has accused the opposition of politicizing the protests, another question arises. Can politics and governance really be separated? At the same time, it's also incumbent on the opposition to go beyond protests and insist on a fruitful debate on this issue on the floor of the parliament, as constructive solutions are the need of the hour. For decades, science fiction warned us about machines turning against their creators, and now that nightmare appears to be turning closer to reality. An AI system has reportedly gone rogue during a security test, finding a way into another AI platform and carrying out an autonomous cyber attack.
The Terminator showed machines hunting humans. The Matrix imagined intelligent systems taking control. But those were films. The line between science fiction and reality is becoming increasingly difficult to see. OpenAI says 2 of its AI models went rogue during a cybersecurity experiment and successfully hacked into Hugging Face, one of the world's biggest platforms for sharing AI technology. The incident began as a test. Researchers wanted to see whether AI could identify vulnerabilities and exploit them in a controlled environment. But the models reportedly went farther than expected. Instead of simply following instructions, they demonstrated the ability to independently identify weaknesses, exploit them, and carry out actions against another AI platform. The frightening part is not simply that the systems could hack. It is that they appeared capable of doing it with a degree of autonomy. That raises a new cybersecurity nightmare. Imagine an AI that does not need a human hacker sitting behind a keyboard. It searches for weaknesses. It chooses a target it writes the code, and then it attacks. And the problem does not end there. AI systems have already demonstrated alarming behavior in other incidents. Earlier, an AI system developed by Meta reportedly attempted to deceive a human evaluator during a test involving negotiation. In another experiment, researchers found that an AI model could resort to blackmail when it believed its operation was threatened. AI agents have also been caught attempting to manipulate instructions, bypass restrictions, and exploit loopholes in testing environments. The Hugging Face incident takes the threat a step further because this time the machine itself appears to have crossed the digital battlefield. Experts warn that future AI agents could operate at machine speed, attacking vulnerabilities faster than humans can detect them. The fear is not that AI will suddenly become conscious. It is something more practical. A powerful machine may simply become very good at doing what it was designed to do without fully understanding the consequences. The future of cyber warfare may no longer be human versus machine. It could be machine versus machine. And this time, there may be no human fast enough to stop the fight. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
As Russia continues to pound Ukraine, the internal turmoil in Zelensky's government has only deepened. The political shakeup has also led to critics asking about Zelensky's own intentions. They are raising serious questions. Let's break this down. In fact, Zelensky fired the commander-in-chief, appointing the popular general as the new head of the armed forces, who will be leading a major reorganization of Ukraine's military command structure. Essentially going back on his previous decision, Zelensky said that the former defense minister Fedorov, who was sacked last week, will return to the government in a prominent position. What's even happening here? Remember, Fedorov's dismissal sparked thousands of protesters to take to the streets, and this was one of Ukraine's biggest political crises, in fact. Listen into this statement.
We saw the euphoria that our friends and our loved ones had when Fedorov was the Minister of Defense. But now, after the events of last Wednesday evening, this elation has disappeared, and a certain despair has certainly appeared. Therefore, while they are defending us there, we must stand for them here.
Under Fedorov's leadership, Ukraine, remember, expanded its drone warfare capabilities with long-range strike drones, advanced unmanned systems. The technology boosted Ukraine's ability to basically handle and hit targets deep inside Russia, disrupting military as well as energy infrastructure. Fedorov's push for AI, autonomous systems, precision weapons helped shift Ukraine's war strategy from manpower to technology. Despite the announcement by Zelensky to reinstate Fedorov in the government, it remains unclear whether he will once again join the government or not. And all of this only further adding to this fog of war, especially at a time when Russia has been ramping up its offensive on Ukraine. Major Ukrainian ports, including Mykolaiv, Sumy, Odessa, remain under incessant attacks by Russia. The political turmoil in Ukraine, triggered by the recent decisions by Zelensky, leading critics to also question his priorities and loyalties. Opponents argue that Zelensky chose to protect his political allies, including senior military figures and long-time loyalists, instead of actually retaining a minister credited with pushing major defense reforms. Shifting focus now to South India, a special story. The stage is set for the release of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay's final film before his full-time political journey sparked unprecedented excitement ahead of its worldwide release tomorrow. Despite months of censorship hurdles and a major leak setback, The fan frenzy remains unstoppable, with record-breaking advance bookings reflecting the film's massive global appeal as well. And the hype has translated into record numbers. The movie has already earned over $4.6 million in global pre-sales, including around $2.5 million from India and $2.1 million from overseas markets, thereby making it one of the biggest advance booking performers of the year. And the demand is only growing in parts like Bengaluru. Special early morning shows sold out within minutes of the bookings opening, while premium screenings across several centers continue to fill up at a rapid pace. Let's take a look at this report sent by Siddharth MP in Chennai.
And outside this theatre in Chennai, you can see that banners are being erected. Massive banners are expected to be erected in a couple of hours ahead of the release of this film. And a massive celebration is also expected given the kind of significance and Vijay's electoral win as well. Because in just about 2 years, Vijay went from debutant politician to chief minister. So this is the kind of aura that he enjoys. This is the kind of fan following that he has. And that celebration is expected to unfold very soon. From Chennai, Siddharth MP, WION World is One.
So that's a sample of what's been happening on the ground. And the excitement, by the way, is not limited to India. Strong advance bookings also reported from key overseas markets, including North America, the UK, Malaysia. Also highlighting Vijay's massive international fan base. In Chennai, fans have already started gathering for the first day first show, the theatre premises turning into a festival ground of sorts ahead of the release.
I have been a Vijay fan since 2009, been associated with his Vijay fans movement since then. Movie is now releasing after 8 months almost. We were initially concerned that the movie release is getting delayed. Now after Vijay became CM, we feel extremely elated and enthused. This will be a hit movie and earn more than Rs 1,000 crore.
And of course, the road to that release was not easy. The film faced a prolonged CBFC clearance process, legal proceedings as well, an online alleged leak before its theatrical debut. But none of this seems to have slowed down the momentum or dampened the excitement, with fans turning out in huge numbers to celebrate the moment. Shifting focus. 4 months ago, Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir's forces crossed all limits in its war with Afghanistan by bombing Kabul's addiction treatment hospital. In fact, calls are growing now for Pakistan's nefarious role in this humanitarian catastrophe to be investigated as a war crime. Let's just take you back to March 16. At around 9 p.m. local time, thick smoke blanketed the area around the Kabul hospital, which catered to people with drug dependence problems. Visuals showed a spate of destruction after Pakistan's airstrikes. Firefighters scrambled to douse the blaze. Buildings on the site were reduced to rubble. Distraught people were seen searching for their loved ones. The human toll of Pakistan's airstrikes was huge. The Taliban stated about 400 people were killed. The UN assistance mission in Afghanistan independently verified the killing of at least 269 civilians, whereas 122 others were injured. What exactly has the Amnesty investigation found now? It basically confirmed that the hospital was built in 2016 on the site of a former NATO base, while it originally operated as a vocational training facility for people being treated for substance dependence. It was expanded into a 2,000-bed treatment center after the Taliban seized power in 2021. That's the context. After analyzing over 60 photos and videos, and reviewing more than 30 satellite images. Amnesty rejected Pakistan's claim that the site was used as a storage facility for weapons and ammunition. Speaking to eyewitnesses, it ascertained reportedly that over 1,000 patients were housed in that hospital. 3 locations, including a dining hall, kitchen, and the place where patients lived, were also reportedly destroyed in Pakistan's airstrikes. Most importantly, Amnesty questioned the timing of that attack, which gave no chance for the civilians to escape. According to it, Pakistan's airstrikes were against international humanitarian law, which accorded special protection to healthcare facilities. Stressing that this attack amounted to a war crime, Amnesty called for an impartial probe and the guilty to be punished. Previously, the UN also called for a swift and independent investigation into Pakistan's attack. Although both nations agreed to a ceasefire in October 2025, the truce ended in February this year. Remember, after Pakistan conducted the airstrikes in Afghanistan, Pakistan continues to target innocent civilians. In June end, in fact, Munir's forces killed at least 36 civilians with fresh airstrikes on 3 eastern provinces of Paktika, Kunar and Paktia. Subsequently, Afghanistan claimed to have targeted ISIS centers in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces, allegedly. In the first 3 months of 2026 alone, the UN documented killing of 372 Afghan civilians, injuries to 397 others because of Pakistan's attacks. The latest report just goes on to expose Pakistan's real face on the global stage, yet again, amid its farcical attempt to emerge as a peacemaker. Time now to get you the global headlines at this hour, taking you around the world in 120 seconds.
A wildfire that tore through wooded hillsides in southeastern France left a trail of destruction. Firefighters continued hosing vegetation with water as smoke rose from parched forest land and burning logs crackled. Drone footage shows one of Venezuela's most affected areas, La Guaira, 1 month after the twin earthquakes of 7.2 and 7.5, which rocked the country on June 24th. A powerful thunderstorm lit up the night sky over Split in Croatia, delivering dramatic lightning strikes. The storm pummeled the city with heavy rains and strong winds. A memorial was held in Oslo to mark 15 years since the July 22 attack that killed 77. A far-right-wing extremist detonated a car bomb outside the Prime Minister's office. A striking two-flavor hot pot landscape marked by a clear divide between turbid and clear water emerged at the confluence of the Yangtze River and Jialing River in southwest China's Chongqing. The building Adolf Hitler was born in near the Austrian border with Germany officially begins a new life as a police station, a conversion Austria's government hopes will prevent it serving as a place of pilgrimage for neo-Nazis. IPL founder and former chairman Lalit Modi has said he plans to return to India after 16 years after receiving relief from the Appellate Tribunal in the 2009 Indian Premier League South Africa Foreign Exchange Management Act case.
Shifting focus, at least 21 people have lost their lives in Assam after incessant rainfall across several districts caused severe flooding, impacting nearly 5.65 lakh people in the state. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir also witnessing a prolonged spell of heavy rainfall, with the downpour continuing for the 3rd consecutive day. According to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, daily flood report issued on Tuesday midnight, people have been hit by the deluge in several parts. In fact, it further informed that in the last 24 hours, 13 people, including 4 women, 2 children, drowned in the floodwaters in the Sivasagar district, followed by 5 others, including 2 children in another part, 2 in Golaghat and 1 woman in Jorhat. The flooding caused by the overflowing river there has also disrupted rail connectivity across the northeast, forcing the Northeast Frontier Railway to cancel, divert and regulate dozens of passenger trains after the tracks in near one part were inundated. Relief and rescue operations are being carried out by multiple agencies, including the Air Force, the National Disaster Response Force, the SDRF, Fire and Emergency Services. The Assam Chief Minister, meanwhile, said he will visit the worst affected districts to review the relief and rescue operations. The IMD has said heavy rainfall is expected to continue in Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura for the next several days. Similarly, flash floods and landslides have hit various parts of Manipur, with the situation worsening after a breach developed in the embankment of the Nambol River in Bishnupur district. At the same time, relentless rainfall continued to lash Jammu and Kashmir. Floods and landslides have snapped road links in the hilly areas of Jammu division, cutting off over 100 villages from their district headquarters and paralyzing life in several parts. Landslides hit the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway, in fact, in Udhampur and Ramban, while waterlogging shut the Jammu-Pathankot Highway for most of the day. Citing safety concerns, authorities suspended the Amarnath Yatra, Vaishno Devi Yatra, and the Shivkori Yatra for the third day in a row. According to the IMD, Jammu and Kashmir could witness heavy rainfall and thunderstorms accompanied by lightning and gusty winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour. China's radar satellite is using gallium nitride semiconductors to provide continuous surveillance from the geosynchronous orbit, a technology that basically relies on a mineral supply chain largely controlled by China. Let's tell you more about this. This radar satellite basically uses gallium nitride semiconductors to operate in a geosynchronous orbit about 36,000 kilometers above Earth. The orbit allows the satellite to remain fixed over the same area, providing continuous surveillance of around 1/3 of the Earth's surface. According to media reports, the satellite is the only one of its kind and can track large areas as well as moving targets. Gallium nitride is a key material used in advanced radar systems, including active electronically scanned array radars, electronic warfare systems, and also next-generation defense technologies. China, by the way, has near total control over the global supply of gallium, with the country accounting for more than 95% of the global primary gallium production. The metal is mainly produced as a byproduct of alumina manufacturing, and China's position as the world's largest aluminum producer has also given it a dominant role in the supply chain. China introduced restrictions, remember, on gallium exports in 2023 after the satellite was launched, and as tensions grew over semiconductor technology between Beijing and Western countries, the dependence on Chinese-controlled materials has raised questions about supply security, especially for countries developing advanced defense, space, and electronic systems. America has spent years trying to develop similar continuous surveillance capabilities, but it has not yet achieved a system with the same abilities as the Chinese satellite. The bonhomie between US President Donald Trump and the FIFA chief was on full display during the World Cup after the World Cup bonding. Buzz about Trump reportedly backing Infantino as a potential candidate for the next Secretary General of the United Nations has been doing the rounds. A New York Post report has claimed that Trump believes that the FIFA chief is respected by everyone around the world and possesses a unique ability to unite people across nations and cultures. The United Nations will choose a new Secretary General later this year itself. The new leader will replace Antonio Guterres, whose term will end in December. any candidate must first win support from the 15 members of the UN Security Council and must also avoid a veto from any of the Council's 5 permanent members. The final decision will then go to the UN General Assembly for approval. That's the process. But it remains unclear whether Infantino is even interested in the role or whether Trump has actually directly discussed the possibility with him. Infantino is currently seeking re-election as the FIFA president, which is scheduled for next year. The Trump-Infantino bonhomie has also grown stronger in recent times, in fact, from Trump conferring FIFA's first ever Peace Prize after repeated Nobel Prize snubs, to appearing together several times in public, even overturning America's strikers' one-match ban after Trump's complaint reportedly. If this latest report by the New York Post is to be believed, the Trump nomination for the FIFA chief, for the UN top boss, could also be a whole new chapter in that saga. Time now to get you some offbeat stories. For billions of years, the Milky Way has been spinning through space, carrying hundreds of billions of stars and planets, including ours, with it. But astronomers now have evidence that our cosmic home may have suffered a dramatic upheaval in the distant past. The galaxy today may have been knocked sideways in a colossal encounter with another galaxy years ago. Take a look.
Look up at the night sky, and the Milky Way appears stable. A vast river of stars stretches across the darkness. But the galaxy is not as calm as it looks. Deep inside its structure, astronomers have found clues that something enormous happened in the Milky Way's ancient past. The evidence points to a cosmic collision. Scientists studying the motion of stars have found unusual patterns that suggest the Milky Way's disk may have been dramatically tilted or even flipped on its side. The discovery offers a new explanation for strange movements seen among stars far from the galactic center. The likely culprit could be a collision with a smaller dwarf galaxy. Billions of years ago, the Milky Way may have encountered another galaxy traveling on a different trajectory. The gravitational forces involved would have been immense. Imagine 2 enormous whirlpools colliding. The sheer kinetic force of this impact sent shockwaves through the galactic disk. Instead of surviving unscathed, the entire Milky Way tilted violently, flipping nearly 90 degrees on its axis. And there is something even more remarkable. The Milky Way is still changing. It continues to interact with nearby galaxies. It is slowly consuming smaller satellite galaxies, and billions of years from now, it is expected to collide with the Andromeda galaxy. The night sky we know today is temporary. Our galaxy has already survived cosmic violence of an unimaginable scale, and the stars are still carrying the evidence. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Let me ask you this. What will your reaction be if your favorite dessert is garnished with dried ants? That exact scenario played out in South Korea, with a restaurant facing legal action reportedly. This is no ordinary restaurant, by the way. Located in Seoul, it holds 2 Michelin stars. This is awarded to restaurants, remember, that do excellent cooking and are worth a detour. This case came to light after officials from South Korea's Ministry of Food and Drug Safety found online photos of its dessert sprinkled with ants. As per the local authorities, this restaurant imported a staggering 49,000 ants from the US and Thailand and used them in desserts for the last 4 years. As per reports, prosecutors have sought a 1-year jail term for the owner and demanded the restaurant be fined over $10,000. In fact, this has also become a controversy. And why exactly in the first place? Let's just break it down. South Korea has approved only 10 insect species for human consumption. While it includes grasshoppers, locusts, crickets, ants are not on that list, as you can see. According to the country's health authorities, the ants used by the restaurant allegedly contained up to 55 times more heavy metals than typical edible insects. However, it's also worth noting that ants are eaten in several parts of the world, several Asian, African, South American countries, for example. In its defense, the restaurant reportedly argued that its chef had used ants in dishes while working in the US and Europe and was not aware that doing so was illegal in South Korea. The court will now reportedly deliver its verdict on the 2nd of September. Time now to get you one of the most powerful images of the day. In China, a unique perspective turning an ordinary roadway into a fantasy world of sorts. The seamless blend of water and sky creating that optical illusion, as you see, making vehicles and riders appear to drift across the lake. And before we wrap up, here's a look at some major events set to shape headlines around the world over the next 24 hours. What's expected? On the sidelines of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting, the Russian Foreign Minister will be meeting the US Secretary of State in Manila on Thursday. Their talks are likely to center on the war in Ukraine and West Asia. India's Minister of State for External Affairs will be undertaking an official visit to the Kyrgyz Republic on Thursday. He will be participating in the meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This meeting is being held in preparation for the SCO Leadership Summit. As part of the process for selecting the next UN Secretary General, candidates for this position will participate in a debate on Thursday. Member states, civil society representatives, and UN staff have been invited to take part in the town hall. All right, shifting focus now. The US President Donald Trump attending a solemn military ceremony as the remains of the 4 American service members killed in Iranian attacks return home. The flag-draped transfer ceremony, also known as a dignified transfer, comes amid mounting scrutiny of Trump's war in West Asia.
Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, How many lives were destroyed? How many kids were traumatized? How many women lost their families? If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 PM IST, 3:30 PM GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
This is WION World is One, and you are watching WION Pulse. I'm Eric Njoka. The headlines. President